Which leads us to the mandate of heaven. So the concept of the mandate of heaven dates from the Zhou dynasty. Before the Zhou, China didn't even have a concept of heaven, but the Zhou believed in Tian and they were eager to portray the idea of heaven as eternal, so they ascribed the concept of the mandate of heaven only because the Xia kings had lost the mandate of heaven. This of course would have been impossible, partly because the Xia kings had no concept of heaven, but orgies are the kind of behavior that is not expected of a ruler, and therefore heaven saw fit to come in, a bit of a deal breaker as far as the mandate of heaven is concerned. But it would explain why heaven would allow the Zhou to come to power. But first, let's see an example of the mandate of heaven in action. So the mandate of heaven turned away from these suicidal puppet emperors. Emperor Wen, by behaving as a wise Confucian, maintains the mandate of heaven. Circularity actually reminds me of the mandate of heaven. Best wishes. Chief among which was the idea that in order to maintain the mandate of heaven, you had to behave properly. The mandate of heaven is remarkably flexible as an explanation of historical causation. One of the best ways to learn how to be a good emperor and thereby maintain the mandate of heaven is to read the Confucian classics. But it was also exaggerated for effect so that the successor dynasty, the Han, would look more legitimate in the eyes of heaven. Which leads us to the mandate of heaven.